Alright, we're going to be watching Lavender, who's going to be playing Diva on Esperanca. This is Masters 5, and I think it's on PC. Watch a player looking to get good before Fall Collegiate starts up again. I think I'm forgetting the stage dives and watch where my team is. Struggling in more open maps, also using microbuses too early. So I've seen the gameplay already, and I would say 80% of this looks very, very good. Definitely believably Masters, right? I think that's like probably pretty close to it's like high Masters, low GM from pre-season 9. I think a lot of this looks really good. The last 20% is what's really holding you back. And the most major ones are like certain fights and the way that you take them where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, especially considering the situation, and you get debacked or just play really, really poorly. Number one. I would say number two is I think that your mechanics and aim still need polishing before reaching GM for sure. And we can see times where like your tracking just isn't on point. I don't know if it's fatigue or focus or like effort or whatever it ends up being, but like especially like getting headshots on Roadhog are really, really important, and it doesn't even feel like you're trying for that at points in time. In fact, I would say often it doesn't feel like you're trying to go for headshots when you're close up on targets. Yeah, so I would say, again, 80% looks really, really good. I think especially most of the game looks good until the last 1 minute, and I think things really fall apart from there, where it's like becoming very clear, like I don't think you know what you're trying to accomplish, and it feels like you're kind of forcing the issue unnecessarily in a way that you weren't the rest of the game. Alright, let's watch through it. So, check sound. Yeah. So we come up here. You're here really early. Great. So you end up taking the opposing bridge. Cool. Right, force them back. Dodge the hook. You kill Pigpen. Okay, great. I think that's actually kind of underrated by people, how bored it is to kill Pigpen. Zen, for some reason, super low. You get a great kill, and you don't let go of boosters, which I think is excellent, right? Really, really good play. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to review this game. Because it's a really, really good play, right? Again, I think below Masters, people don't even think about doing this. They would probably end boosters, kill the Zen, and be like, oh, I feel good. But like keeping boosters, completing the kill, and getting back up to high ground is 100% the right play here. So, we're up over here, and you see, hey look, Hog's low, and you're going to tunnel vision right now, and you're going to go. Here's the problem. Where is the rest of their team, right? Even just looking from your perspective, and not thinking about sound, just using game sense alone, how many enemies have you seen so far? We saw the Genji early, and we saw him drop, right? And maybe we don't know where the Genji is right now. We've obviously seen the Hog, and we've seen the Zen. Zen's dead. Maybe we don't know where the Genji is. We know where the Hog is. Where are the other two people on the team? Right here. So they are under you right now. So I think looking at this and pausing, I think you realize the best call here is to go after these two, right? The Kiriko is going to switch up here because she's afraid the Hog's going to die. Kill the Cassidy. This is a 3-on-1 with the Cassidy, right? Right now, kill the Cassidy. This has to be the play, right? Kill the Cassidy right now, then go and deal with the opposing two heroes. As a general reminder, tanks are always less killable than you think they are, right? Tanks being low is not the same as other heroes being low. Tanks have so many ways of doing damage mitigation that it's really, really hard to confirm kills with them, right? They're also much more likely to get, help-based supports. So the correct call here is to kill the Cassidy. But instead of killing the Cassidy, you're going to zoom over here and try to force the fight here on the Roadhog. But you see with the Roadhog here and the Kiriko, right, plus Pigpen, plus Cassidy, you have no chance. You know right away, you start holding Matrix, you're like, oh shoot, I've screwed up. And then you get demacked. This was a super easy fight win, right? All you gotta do is kill the Cassidy here. I don't think I need to harp with this. I'm sure, like, at your level, I think you realize, like, right away, this is the mistake. You need to have realized, A, there's two heroes missing, and they have to be somewhere, and figure out where they are. B, from audio alone, you would hear there's two different McCree or Cassidy gunshots going off right now. You have to realize that there are enemies under you, plus the footsteps. Like, there's so many cues here that have to tell you there are squishy targets right under you, and you need to go kill them, and not to go advance against the Roadhog, right? This is like 100% like a cost fight by you, which is unfortunate because, like, the end of the game is very close. All right. So, we're gonna come through again. All right, you kill Pigpen, Micro Muzzle. I think it's a fine trade, right? Pigpen's got a pretty long cooldown. So Hog's here, right? Really important to mirror the Hog. I think you're a little slow here to realize the Hog. Like, you can hear the Hog rotating right now. I would immediately got over here. Again, you can face tank the Hog easily. It's like not a problem. So like, I wouldn't worry about him hooking me in this situation. It's bad if he hooks you into the opposing team, right? But here, where there's not going to be any help to finish you off, you can just sit here and eat the hook if you want to. Most important thing is make sure he does not kill somebody in time, because he has enough time here that conceivably, if like you had your Hanzo, for example, is over here, he might have been able to kill the Hanzo before you could do something about it. But going in pressuring him is the right idea. I don't know about the melee. I don't think that's necessary. Like, the melee is not a good idea because it actually reduces your sustained DPS, right? Your guns do a ton of damage, 144, right? Doing a melee and cutting that damage is a lot. So unless the melee is actually going to kill the target, or you're having trouble tracking them, like if it's Symmetra or Tracer, there's no reason to melee in this situation. Just keep using your guns. I wouldn't use micro missiles here because he's already popping heal, and he's definitely not going to die. Like, you need to look at this hog. That's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you here for, like, especially D.Va versus hog is you look at the hog here and you think this hog is killable, right? You're tunnel visioning. This hog is not killable. All right, I have not seen him use heals. I haven't seen any help from his supports yet. This hog is not killable. He is low, but he is not killable. So I don't want to commit anything to this that I might need for something more valuable. So I don't pop missiles right now. I just walk with him and shoot, right? Right now, I pop missiles and I go up to the Kiriko. Right? See, right now, this is the moment. Instead of having the hog, reduce damage by like 50, 40%, whatever it is right now, now you can use the missiles, right, and try to burn the Kiriko. Okay, Suzu's fine, right? Is what it is. So, but we could have gotten way more damage in with her if we had missiles. So, Cassie's out of position. You try to DM him. Do your best. I mean, is what it is. So, I think you realize, okay, going front's not going to work. You rotate up top. I think this is a really good call. All right. I would also note is that they pop Kitsune, and one big problem you have in this game is that you do not respect enemy Kitsune. So it's not going to be less an issue in this fight, but it's going to be an issue in other fights where it's going to cost you like max over and over again. So you're a little slow to rotate up here. I think I would rotate up right away. Hog's vulnerable, you get the kill. I don't know why you drop right now, because now you have an advantage, right? Brendan on the hog. You're 291, but like conceivably, you can try to stay up here. Like you can hear the Genji up here. Your Moira is here. I would have stayed up here for a second and helped the Genji. All right. Good job coming back up. All right. See, this is where you could have been the whole time. You could have been bringing that Cassidy down, or Genji down. You're working the Kiriko. So this is going to be a start of aim problems. So one of the things you'll notice at high-level D.Va gameplay is they're really good at tracking targets at close range. It is actually very difficult at times to do this type of aiming. I myself have also struggled with this. But like, you're going to see that you are way off. Like, look at this. You're not even hitting 10% right now. Like, this is really bad for a point-blank target who is not even particularly evasive and relatively large. This is way too low accuracy, right? Like, if I look at this, I'm like, look, your crosshair is all over the place. Like, at Masters, this is unacceptable. Like, you cannot be hitting this few shots. Like, even your hit markers are not full hits, right? It's like the edge of your pellets are hitting the brick. This is like literally like 10% accuracy until she straightens out at this point in time. You need to get way better at that if you want to play at a higher level. Like, it's like once the enemy realizes that you can't hit them at close range, they'll start dueling you instead of trying to escape, and it'll make the pressure on you even worse to try to get something done. Like, the worst thing is when you're fighting like a Widow or a Kiriko or whatever, and they just face tank you, like dodging, like strafing, and they demech you because you can't hit them. It's just it's a huge mechanical issue that like you need to get past to get to higher ranks. All right, you're gonna chill here. I don't love this spot, honestly. I think a lot of stuff can go wrong here. I would rather just play safer to be able to understand what's going on here, right, or here. Just it's fine, but. So the Roadhog is already rotated to the right. That's fine. But it's a possible hook. So definitely don't. I'm not using missiles here unless you knew the casting was extremely low. I don't know why you would know that unless somebody called it. But it's fine. I mean, you still have no real chance of killing him, but it is what it is. So your Cassidy pops high noon. You go over and try to deter the hook. I think it's good. All right, you're just chilling. Yep, just generally being disruptive, moving the card. I think things are good so far. Your Cassidy kills Hanzo somehow. Oh yeah, he just dies over here. I mean, not a lot you can do because you went over to deter the hook. The only way that doesn't happen is if you believe your Cassidy is not going to get hooked, which is also reasonable, but hard to know for sure how well your Cassidy's going to play that. All right, so Roadhog gets woken up. There's a huge waste of Suzu. So you see Suzu right there. That's absolutely massive. So there's like a real scenario here where you have a follow-up. It's funny because one of the things I've noted is I think the general level of supports at the same ranks are just not as strong. There's no reason for a Kiriko to be teleporting here and then Suzuing this late on the Hog. Like, the Hog's about to wake up anyway. It's crazy to be wasting the Suzu like that. But I would just clock that. I was like, okay, A, the Kiriko is not that good, but B, that they're not going to have Suzu, which is going to be helpful. Yeah, if you want to brawl Hog here, that's fine. I wouldn't worry about the break. Break's too far away. Right. So look for opportunities where the hog doesn't want to shoot you anymore. Right. You can DM the first couple shots and then start shooting him. Like you can just unload on him right now. Like right now, I would just start shooting at him and track him out. But there is stuff going on to the left, so I think it's a good call to rotate over here. Right. So you're gonna try to hold off this angle. I think you're continually trying to split angles here, right? To have two different angles, which I think is good as a general rule, but it's bad when your Moira wants to heal you, but doesn't feel safe to do so, right? Because your Moira doesn't want to heal you anymore because the Moira is now exposed to all three of them. Versus if you stand right here, the Moira feels much more comfortable letting you body block the shots. So rally goes off, so you should try to get away right now. You decide to bomb. I think this bomb is okay as denial, right? Trying to keep the fight going. The problem is your Cassidy died here, like while you were doing that. I think he dies right now. So at this point in time, you can already make a reasonable guess that you're not going to win this fight. So you lost your Hanzo early, which you would know. You just lost your Cassidy, so you have two supports right now. You don't know where your Ana is. You know where your Moira is, and you know that you're low, and you know that they pop rally. I think that is a reasonable case here to simply just give this up, right, and not try to force this. I don't think this is egregiously bad. There's going to be one much later that's really bad. But I think this was like, I think I would have probably just gotten demeched here. But really important, if this is going to happen, you definitely need to get out. Very lucky to not get demeched here. Don't even shoot the Genji from this far away. It's not going to do anything, right? Just find a way to loop around to the back left, because that's what's going to end up happening over here, is that you're either going to be able to save your Ana or she's going to die. In which case, if you can save your Ana by going over here and helping out. Otherwise, if she dies, you're just going to keep rotating backwards. You don't want to be here. So because you're here, Ana panics and nails you. Now, the thing is, you guys actually are able to turn this fight, which I think is pretty unlikely. Do you turn this? I think you turn this. Maybe you don't. Yeah, you don't. I remember what happens now. Yeah. So right here, you're going to get demeched in a second, right, by the Kitsune. So rolling this back, right, there's a lot that's going on in my head here that I think is not going on in yours. So as a reminder, I knew when I was at door here, when I was at door over here, I already know that my Hanzo got killed earlier. Okay, so I know that I'm missing one critical source of damage already. Now, maybe you already committed to this and you realize this, but you hear the audio cue for your Cassidy die, you throw this. At this point, for sure, right, even if I did realize it only after I threw the bomb, because when I throw a bomb, I have time to breathe, right? That's really important at high level play, is when you have moments to breathe and you don't need to actually be doing something, I'm not aiming at somebody, I'm not dodging something, blah, blah, blah. When you're throwing mech right now, right now when you're coming down, I'm literally looking at the scoreboard as I come down. Because what else am I going to do? I don't have literally anything to do. There's nobody on my screen, right? My mech's already tossed. I'm probably safely going to be able to get a remech. So I'm looking at the scoreboard. Right now, I 100% know that my Cassidy is dead as well. So I know that Cassidy is dead, and I know that Hanzo is going to be a while walking back. Because the way Esperanca works is a very long walk for Hanzo to get back, and Hanzo has no mobility. So I know that I'm down a player here, right? So I have to realize this is a 3v4 situation. It is very unlikely that we can turn this, especially when this is two supports. Okay? If it's DPS, that gives you more volatility in terms of your ability to do it, or if you play a tank that has strong carry potential, like Zarya with high energy, but in this situation, I just don't have damage to kill anyone. So I have to know, look, this has to be a pullback situation. I need to leave. So even when I get back over here, I'm still looking at this as this fight is lost, right? We can't win this fight. If we can delay 10 seconds plus for Hans to get back, maybe we can turn it. But at least right now, there is no winning scenario here, okay? It's statistically very unlikely, which is why I would go to the left and loop back around. Meet up with the Hanzo, meet up with Ana, right? See if we can keep people alive, see if you can turn it. But otherwise, look, maybe it's a lost fight. But when you stay here, and you're wasting your time shooting and missing. Both of this is a waste, right? Your accuracy is so low, your damage is so low, why would you even be doing this? But you stay here, and your Ana's oh, hey, my tank is here, maybe we can make a play. But, this is, a really bad, I'd say your Ana's not playing well either, which is, but it's mirrored by the Kiriko play on the other side, right? Neither support looks very particularly strong. So over here, this can't possibly be a situation where you expect a diva to do something, right? Diva's going to kill 5 heroes here, right? With 2 supports, they're like unbelievably tanky. There's no way, right? You just no chance of being able to accomplish anything in this situation. But because of your mistake trying to linger around and fight and shoot, it baits the Ana into making a mistake. And that's one of the things I say a lot is, especially as tank, don't do things that increase the chances your teammates will make mistakes trying to cover up for you, right? You sticking around here is a mistake. You can't do anything in this situation that would have changed anything about the result of this fight, right? You should have just gone way back, regrouped, and then recontested from then if you had at least 4, right? If not 5. But you sticking around causes this nano get forced. This nano's not going to do anything, right? Again, okay, cool. Like, Genji dies, but Genji dies without have nothing to do with your nano, right? It's not like you did any meaningful damage to him, right? You get forced back, right? I think we just give this up, right? I would just fly away. You're like super low. So you just need to chill here. But your Moira dies as well, which is, again, not surprising because it was a 5v4 situation and it was like 5v1 for a little bit because she was way in the back line. Like, you're still down, right? 2 heroes right now against 4. Like, you have to buy at least another 5-6 seconds for your Cassidy to get back here for it to even be a potentially winnable fight, and you're still low. Like, you're lower on resources than the enemy team is. So you just need to chill. I'm like giving this up. Look, it's fine. Like, it's not like we forward spawn or anything. Leia already capped it. Like, step back. Step way back. So Hanzo's really out of position. So again, you see Brig here and you think this Brig is killable. I think there is no world where this Brig dies. A, she has shield, B, the Hog is there, and C, the Hog is hook. How can I get the kill? I can get the kill here. There's no chance. You have no chance. There's literally no world where this would ever work out to be a kill. But this is the difference between you and higher level gameplay is you're tunnel visioning so much on someone who's low. You're like, oh yeah, low, I can go kill them. But like at higher levels, you need more situational awareness. Like, is the Brig killable? The Brig is not killable. Let's look at this way. Let's imagine we removed all the other heroes here except for you and the Brig. How long would it take you to kill this Brig? Would she die instantly in like a second or 2? I don't think so. I still think it's going to take you like 3 to 5 seconds to kill this Brig. She's not going to die very quickly, which is an eternity in Overwatch, right? Just the Kiriko alone could easily keep the Brig up against you without a problem, right? The Brig has Bash and she has shield, right? There's no way you're going to instantly kill her faster than anyone else can react, much less the Roadhog standing in front of you with hook. Zero chances this is going to work. So now you don't have boosters, and your missiles have been interrupted. So we have kind of the option here, right? The best option is simply to back up, because remember you only have one support here. Okay, there's stuff going on in your backline as well. Not that you can do anything about it. Just back up, right? Play the corner, right, and keep backing up and apply damage like as you back up. But instead, you wide swing here, right? You see how instead of backing up this way, you decide to swing this way as though you're the one who's going to win this fight. But they have way too much sustain here, right? And the Roadhog does too much damage at this range. So you're just getting burned down. Now Kitsune goes up. When Kitsune goes up, everybody in the opposing team does 50% more damage, right? That's the way to think about it. Like, everything does 50% more damage. That's a huge deal. Like, you can't just not respect that. Kitsune's up, I leave, right? I leave. Right? If I had boosters, I would leave. But at a minimum, without boosters, at least I'm just walking away from this, right? See how you're walking forwards right now? This is a mistake. Just walk backwards, right? If someone gets hooked, right, just, DM for them, right? Or try to step in front of it. But, like, there's no reason to be walking forwards right now. You see, oh, look, Roadhog's purple, he's going to die. This Roadhog's not going to die. There's no way. He's not even close to dying, right? He is not even close to dying. He's at 362, and he still has half of his heal left when you start pushing him. Like, this is nuts. You think, okay, he's going to die. He's not going to die. Again, just holding heal right now gives him 500 health, right? Without any actual healing, but vaping, the damage resistance alone gives him like 450, 500 health. You can't kill him. Right? He just turns his head, vapes, and you're never going to kill him. It's just not possible. And you get melted, right? So this is the kind of stuff that's killing you, right? You should never even be in this position to begin with, right? Like, this is a really hard fight to win, but like, even in the fight, you're making like bad micro decisions constantly, which are reducing the chances of you winning the fight like over and over again. And for the record, the reason why your Ana's not healing you is because the Cassie is flanked here, and the Ana makes the correct call, which is like, look, my D.Va should be okay. My D.Va has to understand to play slow here. Cassie's flanking, the Ana's like, oh, let me try to, she nades here, right? And she's like, oh shoot, we're in trouble? And then she helps kill the Cassidy here. And then immediately looks back at you, but you're already demeched by now. Like, this plays very differently if you just aren't so tunnel vision trying to get kills that are not killable. Alright, so you're gonna run up here. They've already capped it, so like, again, I think your micro misses use is just pretty bad. Like, generally you want to activate them from very close range. You're gonna drop down this way, which I think is quite a decision. I don't generally like taking fights like this. I think it's really chaotic. I think your Cassidy is over here, though. So I think this is actually okay. If Cassidy wasn't here and playing like a more normalish spot, I think this is like kind of crazy. But in this weird situation, this might actually be the right call. I think this is actually okay. Like, your team has done something strange by flipping the point, but it's okay. All right, so good DM here. Yep. So the second he starts healing, though, right? He starts healing right now. Release and go do something else. Yep. I would have flown over to go kill the Cassidy, to kill the Genji. Because the Roadhog's not a threat anymore, right? At this point, the Roadhog's not a threat. He's too far away and he doesn't have hook. So go do anything else. Whether or not to be focusing down the Genji, right? Because Genji might get low and not die, right? Focus on the Genji or try to help with this fight that's going on over here. I think this fight's probably actually more consistent and you realize that, but in my head, I'd probably tunnel vision on the Genji because Blade is just so powerful. But you go up for the Cassidy, you get hooked out of it. And like, this is the kind of thing where you're just a little slow to start doing something else productive. Right now, you need to be going anywhere, right? Either here or over there, or Cassidy, right? Any of these options are perfectly legitimate, but like doing none of those and just shooting from really far away is really bad. That's a habit you gotta train yourself out of. You can't be shooting targets from 40 meters away. Like, the damage you're doing as Genji is like literally like 1 to 5 DPS. It's like irrelevant. You just cannot be doing this. It's so wasteful of your time in a situation where your team really needed you. Flying straight up like that obviously gets you hooked, but your team managed to get a lot done without you. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely finish the kill on the Hog here. So Hog is no vape, right? We just saw him use the whole thing. He was killable right there with the cooldown. Now you waited too long, but it's fine. I mean, you're playing it super safe, but I think that you could have killed him with no risk of demecking earlier. Chasing here. This is insane, though, because it's way too many. Yeah, you get a... So now they have a sim. You bump him away, which I think is a pretty good play. Sim here. Right. I think this is an okay missiles. I think a lot of it goes to the Brig against the Brig shield. So this is actually an interesting bomb, because it's going to get kills here, and it's actually going to go into a pretty good spot. I don't know if it was intentional for you to slide it around the wall like that. I don't think so, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But I think this bomb's actually good. I would give it a B+. So they don't have a tank, which means theoretically you should be able to kill them pretty quickly without it. But on the other hand, you know, I think momentum is important. Diva Bomb is not that great of an ultimate anyway, and especially if you're planning on switching, because like, for example, Winston becomes outrageously good right now. I think this would have been a great bomb if you were planning on switching. Without switching, I would give it, you know, a B+. Because I think it's really hard for your team to actually confirm these kills without this bomb. It takes your team like a really long time because your team lacks consistent damage against those really thin targets. Because that's really what I'm looking for as Winston, as like, what are situations where I really want to play Winston, is I look at targets that are really hard to hit, right? So these three are really good examples, okay? Kiriko has a really thin hitbox. Brig has a shield, which increases her health by 250, except against Winston, right? Symmetra has a really thin hitbox. So these three heroes are all like Winston food here, right? Winston is like absolutely amazing against, well, Brig's kind of tricky because Brig in some ways is also anti-Winston because of her ability to survive the dive, pack people, and then also whip him away. But like in a situation like this where they're all going to be clustered together and it's just extra damage, that's great, right? So I would see this and like, look, this is already a really good sign for Winston. They're playing Zarya, who like basically does nothing against Winston. This is excellent. I also think that Winston is good against Cassidy. Having played both Winston and Cassidy, I think Winston is very good against Cassidy. Especially with the right-click nerf. Alright, so we're going forwards. I don't know that I'm using boosters here because you don't know what's around this corner, right? Like, it could be like all 5 of them all ready to go, and then like, it's a problem for you. It's not like you do any ranged poke damage anyway. Like, look at this. Right now, let's assume that Cassidy right now is AFK, and you stood still. How much damage do you think you would do against the Cassidy? Like, not including missiles, just guns. 30 damage a second, maybe 40 damage a second. That's nothing against a target that's literally stationary. I think you are dramatically overvaluing how much poke damage you can do outside of 10 meters. Okay, like it's truly like your damage is like almost zero, and popping missiles here is just nuts. Like there's no reason to it. You waste missiles all the time. Yeah, good DM here. So. Yeah, I mean, body block for just a second, but mostly I'm getting away because we're not winning this fight, right? We still got the card pushing. Just pull way back. Yeah. So this is right call. Pull way back. So on a grenade gets used here. Unfortunately, you hear it /see it right there. But your Cassie gets a pick. Great, excellent, good cover for him. Excellent. Okay, so it's good. We're 5 on 4. Hey, Kitsune gets popped. What does that mean? Chill, right? Just chill. Keep people alive. That's what we want to do here. Just keep people alive because Kitsune is dangerous. Back up. Like, if as a general rule, the enemy team is running towards you, it means they think they're going to win the fight. So unless you have some surprise that they're not ready for, like Diva Bomb, you probably should back up. Like, there's only so much you can do here in terms of saving your team. Like, what are they going to do here? Like, they popped Rally, and they popped High Noon, and they popped Kitsune, and they have Bubbles. Like, just back up. Right? Just keep backing me up. But, like, you're taking way too much damage right now, and you need to leave. So, like, your team is retreated into the left, right? So, you could retreat into the left, right? You could just fly up into the windows. You got some options here. But, like, just sitting here and just getting burned down is bad. Right. So, Nana gets popped now. Alright, you work on Kiriko. It's fine. Yep. Break doesn't die here. So, I would be afraid of getting demacked here, but that is what happens. And then the Cassie's gonna kill you. So, overall, I think you're trying to slow down the push. Right? But, like, I think you need to cut the corner sooner. Like, I would just cut the corner and just hold DM here. And, like, there's only so much I can do for my team, right? Like, to some extent, they need to be able to deal with their own survival. I think don't sacrifice yourself for your team. Right? Because often your team has plans on how they'll be able to get away, and they're also much harder to hit than you are, so they don't take damage as consistently. I think that your retreat path had to be into the room to rejoin the rest of your team, right? And I think it would be much easier there. I think that you got quite lucky to not get demacked here. Alright, so we're back to pushing. So, like, just thinking for a second, what am I trying to accomplish right now? Right? What am I doing? Am I doing anything that's helping my team? You know, like, you're standing up here, but, like, you're not even DMing for your Moira, who is the only person here who could actually die, and you're too far away to do any damage. Like, again, how much damage do you think you would be doing to the Mei in the situation? Like, 40 damage a second. It's really not a lot. You need to be a lot closer than you think to actually get that damage in. Right? Now you commit on the Mei, who has ice block. Like, I think this is okay. I would have loved if you did not, finish boosters and you held boosters and went back down. I think that would make this a good play. I think this is an okay play otherwise, because you're gonna get burned down for a ton of resources, right? You're gonna trade a lot of health here, and I think that Zarya could just straight up demech you here if she wanted to. Yeah, she could just demech you right now because she's aiming for the Cassidy, but she could have demeched you here if she wanted to. Try to DM for the Cassidy, try to pop the wall for him. Yeah. So, Jaime gets popped, or Grab gets popped, you try to, shield it, but only so much you can do. It's fine. If you're really good, you will realize that Grab is a possibility, and as soon as you had left main, the Zarya would look for it. Like, if you had really, really, really good, like, GM level game sense, you could realize that, hey, this moment in time, like, High Noon is, I don't know why I keep saying the wrong ultimates, that Grab is a possibility here, and flicked back to the right and looked at the Zarya and looked to eat the Grab. But I understand what you're trying to do. I think it's okay. It's not a plus play by any means. But from here, you lost 2, you lost 3, right? A part of me would just be like, look, can I just die here? Like, do I really want to try to do this run back? Like, what are we doing right now? Like, you could theoretically get away right now. Like, you're still at 148, Like, you could have just flown up, down, right? Zigzagged a little bit, gone around the corner, and potentially have gotten away. But you fly back in, right? And then, you know, at this point in time, it feels kind of silly, right? You should just dive earlier and realize, hey, look, fight is lost. There's no point in just trying to stagger. And, like, you're also kind of enabling your Ana. Because if you hadn't retreated your Ana, you and your Ana both would have died. Right? And if you both died, you both would have respawned by now. So, again, you're kind of enabling your teammates' bad behavior through your own mistakes. So, let's think for a second. What am I trying to accomplish by flying up here? So the Zarya's already on high ground, right? Do you want to fly up here? Like, let's say the Zarya was staying here, because there's no reason for you to know the Zarya's going to leave. Do you want to be up here with the Zarya? Or are you not just immediately forced back down, and you take like 250, 300 damage in the process? Like, what are you doing up here? There's no point. There's no chance of you killing the Ana, right? You see, the Ana's pushing you! That's when you know that the Ana has no fear, right? Like, either the Ana has no idea what they're doing, or you don't actually have any chance of winning this fight. So, the Ana doesn't die, right? And now we drop back down. I think what would have been more reasonable would have been, hey, look, let's just sort of see what happens, right? Just go over here. You can fly over here and play this spot, right? And just kind of see how things play out and be like, okay, Zarya dropped. Now I can come in on the Ana if I want to. Another missile's where it's like, I don't even know what you're looking for, right? Like, right now, there are no enemies. There's still no enemies. Why are we activating missiles? There's still no enemies. Like, this is just... Like, there's a big fight that's about to happen right now. Why are you just using missiles? Like, this is a huge source of your burst damage. Missiles do a lot of damage. So, this is kind of an interesting situation. So, you know that the Iyari is, like, kind of low, and then you try to dive. I think this is reasonable, right? But I think after doing this, I would have landed here and then killed the Iyari and then dropped if I needed to. I think trying to come back main is quite bad because it just puts you in a bad position, right? Like, you already see it when you're going up, and, like, granted, this happened really fast. I see the Zarya. What I'm cluing in here is the Zarya, because wherever the Zarya is, I don't generally want to be. So the Zarya is coming towards me right now. I'm flying past her, so I want to finish here, kill the Iyari, and then drop if needed, right? Or if the Zarya keeps walking forward to my team, I can turn and start applying pressure to the people in the back. But because you end up coming back to main, you get stuck here by the wall, and you're like, oh shoot. Then you pop bomb, which manages to get you over the top, right? And then you die, and you get one, but, like, the whole thing feels pretty sloppy here, right? Also somewhat lucky that you managed to get the kill from the, with the bomb, right? And their enemy team ends up winning the fight anyway. This is just not the value you're looking for out of bomb, and, like, you don't even get to remech, right? Like, a huge part of Diva Bomb is not getting kills, it's the fact that you get a second life, right? Getting another 725 health mech to continue fighting is incredibly powerful, and not getting the remech here is bad, right? It's not the value you're looking for out of ultimate. Like, think about the enemies are to grab one in the fight, right? Your bomb is not. It sucks. Alright, we're pushing forward right now, 215. Yep, I think taking this angle is good. So, Cassie over here. I don't know if I agree with those missiles, but it's not the worst decision. Right? Stopping card here I think also makes sense. Yep. So, you know, unusual choice to nano here, but that's fine. So, I don't know why you're not pursuing here. So, with nano, you effectively have 1100 health right now. Just keep pursuing. Right? Grenade even went off. Like, I don't know why you're not just face tanking the Cassidy and killing him. And I don't know if it's because you're not confident in your mechanics or not, but, like, this is like a guaranteed kill at GM level against a Cassidy. Against a GM Cassidy, right? They literally have no tools. I think he rolled already too, right? He rolled already. There's literally no way that this Cassidy can prevent you from killing him. Even with the Ana healing him, there's no way. Just end the boosters on top of him, just keep shooting him. You're going to be doing 215 plus damage per second without missiles. There's just literally no way this Cassidy can survive. Like, for you to be playing so slow here is really weird. You look for the Ana. So it's funny because the Ana actually goes around you here. And you lose track of her. You kill the Ana. I would be careful about bumps here. So knowing the Ana's here, you might it's like tricky because you're trying to go into her, but you might also consider going to the right and then back in to bump her into the corner. Because there's a possibility that she could have lived there. So Mortar goes, so I would go, yep. But Cassie dies anyway, so we're good. Alright, reset. So this does nothing, right? Other than using her missiles and get you out of position. Like, this is not, they're clearly not going to try to contest this angle. Go back, play windows, right? Your team needs you to help, like, apply more pressure and take up some space, which you're not doing on that flank right now, right? The most, I think what would help here is actually understanding how Esperanca works. So once the cart goes, like, roughly to the point, there's no reason for them to go through the left side anymore, right? Unless they have some sort of weird, like, long-range pick potential or strong long-range flanker or a long flanker, like Tracer or Widow. There's no reason for anybody to be over here. So your team doesn't need you here. Your team needs you up front. Like, this is a waste of time because you're already out of position. Because you should have been already controlling, for example, this high ground right now. But Widow gets a pick. I just go home. Just leave. Yep, leave right away. But you see what? We're slow on this, like, on this leave. Like, the second Widow gets that pick, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Like, there's no way. I'm at half health and our Moore is dead, right? And we don't have any good angles. Just leave. Immediately leave, right? Right away, be like, nope, out. But, like, not only do you not leave, you re-peak this, right? You're at 340. Just leave. You're leaving right now. Good, right? They turn around, boost away. Instead, no, I walk back in and I eat a grenade. And I eat more damage. And I'm holding the... Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? There's no way. Your team can't compute that. Just leave. Right? Let's put it this way. Even if your Widow picked off, like, let's say, their Kiriko, I still leave. I have no health. Right? I have no health. We have no angles. This is not a good place to fight. So, back to... What are we trying to accomplish here, right? As D.Va against Zarya, you really want to stay out of her beam range unless you're killing somebody, including her. You have no kill potential here against the Zarya, obviously, right? There's no way the full health Zarya is going to die with bubbles. Just don't fight her. Literally just stay out of her range, just kite her, right? Stay out of her range, go here, right? Look to pressure somebody else, slow down people in the back. Eventually the Zarya will be solo pushing the cart, and then you can kill the Zarya, or kill the backline. Any one of those possibilities. But there is no world right now to be shooting the Zarya, especially with missiles. Like, this can't happen. This is, like, probably one of the biggest indications of, like, where your skill is right now versus where, like, the difference between a higher rank is there is no reason a Zarya would be, or a D would be fighting a Zarya right now in this situation. There's nothing to be accomplished right now. Right? Now you've lost 350 health. For what? And it's armor, too, right? Which makes it more valuable. For what? For nothing. The Zarya is literally full health right now. Right? Like, you literally just gave away half of your health for nothing. These are terrible traits. At higher ranks, the way people lose, right, is not because of one big mistake, but because of an accumulation of small mistakes, right? You trade a little bit better and better and better until you overwhelm them. It's very similar to when you look at, like, RTS games, right? You look at StarCraft. At lower ranks, people die to the very first push, right? They're like, oh god, like, I'm getting attacked, and then you just lose, right? Or your attack fails, and then they counter push you, and then you lose, right? Because they have no ability to use defensive advantage, right? To macro better, right? To be more consistent, to understand the right decision making, blah, 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 blah. But at higher ranks, nobody dies on the first push, and nobody's a stretch, right? It's rare that people die on the first push. Generally speaking, it's the first attack creates some advantage, right? I hurt their economy by killing some of their workers, or I destabilize their position, or I kill valuable units like siege tanks. And then the next push, okay, now they don't have siege tanks, so it makes my next push even more effective, and now I hurt even more of the economy, and then I pull back. And the third and final push, now they have barely been able to rebuild their siege tanks, but they have no economy, so their army is smaller than mine, and I just push and win, right? That's what higher ranked play looks like in Overwatch. It's not one big mistake, because people don't generally get to that rank by making big mistakes. It's a accumulation of small mistakes that cause people to win or lose. This is a small mistake, I mean, relatively, I would say maybe a medium-sized mistake, where you're trading half of your health away for nothing, right? And that is going to result in an accumulation of problems. Now, while you're doing this, Widow ends up getting this pick here on your Cassidy. Again, I wouldn't be playing here, because what am I going to do? I can't stop the cart in this situation. It's simply not my job. my job is to play all these other angles and control it for my DPS and for my supports, etc., etc. You could have been playing up here. You could have stopped this Widow shot and or at least traded out for the Widow. But you can't do that because you're super low standing here holding DM. Right? And now you're down a player and you're down health. And now we need to leave. And now Widow dies. Right? And now I just leave. I just leave. I completely leave my team. There's nothing I can do here. Just leave. I think going up here and trying to push is nuts. Like, you would need a magical combination of things to happen for this to actually work out, right? Because it's far more likely that you take a ton of damage here than if you get the kill. So, back to small mistakes lead to bigger mistakes, right? So remember, you went up here and you pushed this angle poorly, right? There's no reason to be taking this fight. There's almost no chance that you get a pick here. And you might think, oh, I need to do something. You have 40 seconds and you have a 25-meter advantage here. Like, you can easily just pull this way back, get all of your ultimates, right? Try to force some of theirs out, and then do one final push, and then you're good. There's no reason to be forcing a fight right now. It's not like you're in overtime and you're desperate or something like that. There's no reason to be forcing this fight. But because you stay up here, you see your supports are going to stay because they're afraid you're going to get demeched. You'll notice that your Ana is still here, and she is in the open because she's healing you. Now, she doesn't need to be there. She could be at the corner, but she clearly is worried about you, right? Instead of pulling back all the way, she's like, okay, let me stay. She's even scoping here to heal. What does that mean? She's in the open now, and she's slow to get back, which means she's still on the open right now, and she gets killed by the Widow. Is this 100% her, like, your fault? Absolutely not. Like, the Ana here is also making mistakes, but your mistakes are chaining on top of hers, right? They're starting to expose weak aspects of her gameplay. And this is a big thing about playing tanks, is that if you play tank poorly, you will often bait your team, especially your supports, into making bad decisions because they're trying to help you. There is no reason. Like, you might look at this like, oh, my Ana's bad because she died. But I look at it as this, why were you even here? Like, there is no reason for me to be standing here. I have no credible way that I could possibly contest at this point in time, assuming my Ana was alive. Let's say my Ana's alive over here. It doesn't make a difference. How could we stop this? They have all the angles. They have bot control. They have Zarya, right? And I can't counter brawl that at all. Just back up. Right? You have to back up here. Now, again, just leave. Right? Why are you flying up here? You're really far in the open. You 100% should have gotten demeched here. Right? And now you're just taking a ton of damage. Now you're feeding the bubble even more. Now you're super low. Right? You're still missing 500 health right now. Just leave. I don't even know why you're trying to contest here. Like, just back up. You have to back up. There's no way, because the healing you're going to get here is not from your Moira, it's from your Ana, right? Your Moira is, like, stuck right now. You can't save her. You fly in here as 100% DMAC and throws the game. Back up to here where your Ana's respawning, get healed, go back, take the fight. Like, you're trying to force the fight as though the line is right here. Right? There's no reason. You have so much time from here, right? This is like 15 seconds. You have so much time. Don't take the fight. Like, you get DMAC'd here, and then you're the pump bomb just to get your mech back. And now, like, you're in such a bad position. Right? And your Moira dies here, by the way. I think your Moira's played pretty well most of the game. Your Moira dies because your Moira is very DPS-y, which is great. I think that's actually the best way to play Moira, right? She's very aggressive, she gets kills in the backline. But that all falls apart if her team doesn't apply any pressure with her. And you're not applying any pressure. You're just standing there constantly taking a ton of damage at the wrong times, right? With no help from your supports because, again, you were baiting them or you're just not getting healing or whatever it ends up being. And then now it's like, okay, your Moira's going to fade here because, like, she had to, gets slept, and she gets killed here, and you have no chance of winning. Right? Like, if I took over your controls here, I'm not going to win this. There's no way. I have no chance. You know? Again, your best option right now is to play slow. You still have time, right? You still have time. I'm not contesting this. I'm just playing really slow, right? And just chilling and letting the card get forwards. Why? There's no point contesting here if I can contest here. Because I want to give my Moira time to potentially get back. Your Moira has coalescence. Like, there is a world where potentially you could flip this. Is it a good chance? No, I think your chance of winning here, it's like 20% maybe, but 20% is better than 0. Like, there's no way that you flying in right now is going to do anything. Okay. Oh, Nano gets popped. Right? Counter Nano gets popped, but you're down 2 DPS, so, like, what are you going to do here? But I would note here, like, your accuracy is, again, terrible. I would say, based on how fast you could snap, I would say your sensitivity is probably too high, but, like, at your level, you might decide not to do anything about it. But, like, just like, presumably you should be shooting the Ana here, right? Like, your Nano, the Ana's point blank on top of you. You can kill the Ana. You 144 damage a second without missiles, okay? With Nano, you're doing about 215-ish. So, at 250 damage a second, not including headshots, this Ana dies in a little over a second and a half, right? Assuming some misses. With headshots, which is reasonable at this range, you could kill her in 1 second. What are you doing? Where are you aiming? What are you doing right now? Like, why are you shooting the Nano Zarya? Now you're clearly trying to shoot the Ana. Now you're DMing the beaming Zarya as though that's going to do something. Like, this is just full-on panic, right? And this is the kind of stuff where, like, that, like, presence of mind under fire, right, in stressful situations and being able to perform well is really important, obviously, you know? But, like, you don't have that right now, right, at your level, which is fine. I mean, like, that's part of skill growth. But, like, you completely waste this Nano, effectively. Right? Like, you don't do anything with the Nano. At a minimum, you must kill one person with the Nano. And considering the fact this Ana is walking into your crosshair right now, like, she's, like, literally meleeing you in your face, and you have not killed her yet, is a really, really bad sign. Right? I think that's an enormously missed opportunity. To be fair, if you kill the Ana, you're still not going to win this. But, yeah, I would say, maybe. Actually, if you kill the Ana, maybe you could have won this. It's possible. Still low chance, but yeah, I think all in all, and note again, if you'd waited longer, right, and given you more and more time, it gives you a better chance of winning this fight. Okay, let's hold there. Summarizing. A few things. Number one, I would say tunnel visioning on kills that are not killable. Number two, spending too much time shooting people from too far away. Number three, I think missiles generally are really poor. Often using them from way too far away. That doesn't make sense. And number four, just how to take fights. And in particular, I would say not even how to take fights, but like understanding when a fight is lost and what to do. Right? Do I retreat or do I die? Right? Just give myself up. And there's like way too much of this like indecision where you're like, I don't really know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. And like sometimes you push in like crazy situations like 1v4, 2v4 situations. Sometimes you don't back up like when they're kitsuneing. There's like a weird hodgepodge of like that decision making that's really costing you. Alright, I'm gonna hold there. Hopefully this is helpful.